when Steve Jobs mentioned, "Oh, there's no more Flash on the website," so it was just, I just then I
Oh my
needed
God,
to,
what happened?
yeah.
Maybe three books you can recommend to the developers for anything. Like, firstly, do you read books? Oh, so
No,
cut this question.
I'm, I'm, I'm as for me to learn, I need to see. I'm that person.
So imagine you are creating something amazing with a programming language and you are becoming pro at it. But one day, a big giant says that, hey, we're not going to use this application, we are deprecating it. What would be your reaction? This happens with the guest we are having today in Laravel India podcast. So today's guest is Caneco from Laravel community, and we have amazing chat with him. So we talked about great things like how was his reaction when he was giving a talk on Tailwind CSS in front of Adam Wathan, the creator of Tailwind CSS. What was his reaction when Flash vanishes from the web? Who he really want to slap, and how he developed a mindset of developer and a designer. All these questions will be answered in this episode, so make sure you stick till the end because you are going to get a lot, you are going to learn a lot from this episode. Before starting, if you like this episode and if you feel that this episode is going to be helpful for you, just leave a 5-star rating and comment your views, suggestions on your favorite podcast application. So first thing I'm going to talk about is Laravel India. Laravel India is happening soon. You will be here with all of us. We will be meeting in real. So how you are excited about the Laravel India?
Very. I follow Visa on Instagram, so
Yeah.
I see his videos, and I'm nervous, and because I can see that everything is all very fun and fun to watch, and I'm a bit nervous of what's going to happen. But I truly believe that we're going to have like an amazing time together.
Yes, that's really going to happen. And that's why we are together here on the Laravel India podcast because of Laracon. Because of this, I got the motivation to restart my Laravel India podcast. So I have a couple of questions for you, but I don't know how much I will going to ask you. But let us start with this one because I'm from India, you are from Portugal. Teach me one Portuguese word,
Yeah.
anything you want, and I'm going to teach you one Hindi word that will going to help you when you will be here in India.
Okay. So one word in Portuguese for you. So maybe I'm going to teach you the only one Portuguese word that there's no translation whatsoever. So there's one Portuguese word that's called saudade and
Sorry.
saudade.
So
Saudade.
so that.
No, not that. Dad.
Okay. Dad.
See.
So that.
Saudade. And
Saudade.
yeah, that's the one. So this means like there's no whatsoever translation, like one-to-one translation for that word. But the meaning of that word is like when you have like the eager of a memory that you have of your childhood or eating something, like when you have that longing feeling of something that happened, that means so that. So that's something that maybe I'm going to have a lot when I return back to Portugal from India. So I will have a lot of saudade of some stuff that is going to happen there.
Wow. So that. Nice.
Yeah.
I can remember this. So that.
Yeah.
Good. So when you will be here, it's my turn now for Hindi word. So obviously you will know namaste. Do you know about
that's
namaste?
the say. Maybe it's better for you to explain. I know the word, but
Yeah,
to be honest,
so
I don't know what's the actual meaning or truly meaning of it.
it's super easy. It's like you can say hello.
Yeah.
So once you meet someone, we say generally hello. So in India, in Hindi, we call it namaste, and we do that with by holding our hand together
Yeah.
like that, right? And we say namaste like
So
that.
it's like the normal way of greeting anyone in there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that
Exactly.
one I'm going to remember. I'm going to just say
Yeah.
namaste to everything.
Exactly. Exactly. That's really really one word I really want to like teach every speaker who is going to come India, because that's going to be the first thing
Yeah.
you can do with any Indian or
Yeah,
anyone,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
That's a good one.
Okay. I'm really fascinated about the names of the people and what the meaning of that. Can you
Okay.
tell me the real pronunciation of Caneco? I don't know if
No,
I'm
you're pronouncing
pronouncing it right.
perfectly, to be honest.
Wow. So, what is the meaning of Caneco?
So, in Portugal, there's two translation more or less. You the exact word it means like a big mug. For example,
Big.
a big mug, like you have like a cup of a mug.
Oh, yeah, mug.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But you have like a big one. That's a caneco. And
Ah.
it's on here. We traditionally do the harvest of the grapes to make wine,
Hmm.
and for producing the wine, mostly most of the times we just say it's two canecos of water and two canecos of wine to make
Ah.
like a measurement. But
Hmm.
normally people say like not the worst cursing word, but it's like saying like a soft curse word. So every
Hmm.
now and then people in Portugal saying on the street like caneco, it's like saying what the hell. It's pretty much like the same. So I hear my name quite too much on the street and on movies,
Yeah.
and my name appears now and then on the subtitles just with that meaning. So that's the meaning of the name.
Yeah, I think every people or every human is firstly connected or emotionally connected to their name, and whenever we see our name somewhere written or somewhere we heard,
Yeah,
the it's really emotional thing. Name is the emotional thing for everyone, and that's why I always want to pronounce people's name
properly.
exactly that, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
properly, because that's the feeling connected with that, and if we are not providing that feeling to the person, we cannot connect to that person, we cannot properly communicate to that person.
Yeah, I feel the exact same thing. That's why I'm not saying Vishal anymore. I'm saying like Visal because I already know it. But
Yeah,
yours is a little bit tricky. How you
try that.
how is it?
You try.
Sarthak.
90%
Okay.
correct, it's really good. It's Sarthak.
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 Sarthak. Okay.
Sarthak.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that one I don't
Well.
remember as well.
Sure. I'm going to ask you when you will be
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Please do that. And if I don't, I'll let you be inventive.
Sure. Okay. So talking about the Laracons, you have given many talks for different Laracons. In
Mhm.
2019, when I was searching about you, 2019, you given two talk on the Laracon EU and EU Spain and EU Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Which was your first Laracon?
So my very first one was in Spain in March, I believe, February, March,
Mhm.
and was my first Laracon as a speaker, whatever,
Mhm.
and it was my first one. Then we Laracon organization had the second one on Amsterdam,
Yeah.
I think in August, so 3 months later, and I got the re-invitation to be there with a different talk, and I had a blast. Laracons are Laracons.
So can you go how you prepare for your first ever Laracon talk? Because I have remember like in 2018 I was invited for Laravel Live um, conference, and I was one of the speaker with Freak and so many other people. And
Yeah.
I literally remember that I mug up all the 45 minutes with word by word so that I will
So you
not
don't
going to
fail.
miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bang on thing. They told me that it's going to be 45 minutes. I said, okay, I will use each and every second of that 45 minute. So that was really fun, but I've like not prepared that, like I've not prepared that much. I just prepared for the timing. I forgot about the
Hmm.
content,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was my mistake. But after I given that speech, then I realized that okay, I can improve on various things. So how you prepared for your first ever talk, and what was the experience after that?
So I prepare quite a lot. So giving all the hours, maybe I prepare for months and months, but if I compress it, all the hours, maybe we have easily 1 month work on that talk,
Mhm.
because like you, it's your first talk, so you have the urge and the feeling that you need to put your blood and soul on it, because you need to make a good impression. You need to,
Yes.
because it's scary to be on stage, so you need to have everything ready. And on top of that, my first whatsoever Laracon talk was about Tailwind, and I was having Adam Wadden
Oh.
seeing the talk. So no pressure there. And I still remember that a moment the talks were flowing on stage, and I'm watching Adam, and Adam from now and then was just closing tickets and working a little bit, and close down the laptop, focus again on the talk. And I remember when I entered the stage and Tailwind, and he just closed down the
Oh,
lid, and
everything focused on.
the full 30 minutes of the talk he was just looking at me. And Adam is a big guy, and I know that he can bench down a lot
Mhm.
of weight. So if I miss, I internally or mentally, I was always thinking, if I mess down something, he just going on stage and he bench press me, so I need to do this right. So but
Yes.
unfortunately it all went well, and by the end it did the thumbs up of approval, so I'm good. And but no pressure there. And for my second talk, I did a lot of preparation as well, and but the audience was a lot bigger.
Hmm.
Not as big as Laracon India, because you have a lot of people there. No pressure,
Yeah.
but it was funny as well, and because I prepare like a talk about validation on
Hmm.
the forums,
Yeah.
and with JavaScript and whatsoever. And I have a thing that adding always themes to every talk, because I feel like it's fun to entertain people
That's
watching,
good.
not only giving some content, good
Yeah.
content, hopefully, but also entertain. So for that talk, my main theme was like the Karate Kid, because Cobra Kai was big at the moment,
Hmm.
and so I stepped out on stage wearing like a gi with
I remember. I remember that.
with the Laravel logo on the back and with the orange belt. And that
Yes.
was me on stage. And the first thing that I do, I just make a bow to everyone. So no pressure, but it's a way of cracking the ice, because you already put
Right.
yourself in the weirdest position whatsoever. So the talk
Yeah.
from then and forward can go smoothly.
That kind of thing actually help not only you but for the audience
Yeah.
to really just like quickly connect to the speaker. And if you start in a fun way, obviously everything will become light. So
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
that you feel light because you feel that okay, people are laughing to you, they are paying attention to you, you can easily proceed. And the audience will like, hey, this is a cool person, I should watch, so I should listen to everything. And that's really a
Yeah,
nice
it's
way to start up.
ice breaking,
Yeah,
the thing.
that's really good. So can
Yeah,
you
that
let's sorry, you're saying something.
No, no, no. Carry on.
So I was saying, like, Caneco, we have talked about your Laracon experience. Let's just go back to the days when you were not a programmer. How was your life, like the childhood? How you landed into the programming world, and then Laravel, and then designing? What was your journey, and how a little Caneco was?
So maybe it's this is a time that you can put like a sound effect, like a twirling sound effect, like back in, yeah, back into the childhood. So my childhood, not so many people know this, but I was like I had overweight. So I was a big chubby guy, a little kid. So I end up having a lot of bullying back on school and high school mostly, and so I was a really introvert a person. So I was really introvert and always getting on my side or my corner. But eventually, I grown up and I started to make fun of myself uh, instantly because I wanted to at least to give people what I wanted for them to have fun of me instead of going back to that overweight problem or
Right.
issue or taboo that I had. So most of my childhood was a little bit at home, seeing TV, and not so much. It was like a weird time. And during my grown up, I started to. That's why I end up with a computer because I stayed a lot at home. So I had like my first computer mostly to play Pokemon. It was like, yeah, it
Whoa.
was the game at the time. So, and I learned the basics of the computer by messing with the computer because when you messed
Everyone's
up
story. Everyone's
something,
story.
yeah, you need to find a way to solve it. And so
Exactly.
that's how I manage it. And apparently everyone does like that. So I did well. And I end up with the program that you might be familiar with the name called Flash,
Uh,
Macromedia Flash.
oh, Micromedia Flash. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really popular at that time.
Yeah, so it was popular, but I end up somehow with that program on my computer and I started to design stuff. So I end up designing like quick cartoons, quick
Hmm.
stuff, and vectorized stuff. So I have like a drawing of a friend of mine and I start drawing on top of it or vectorizing the illustration because we didn't have trace back in the day to instantly trace an image to vector. So it was pretty much my afternoon. So I reach home and started to design stuff on Flash,
So
and
basically, your starting was not in the programming, more on the
no,
designing.
yeah, pretty much like
Wow.
in there. But I end up using that. I end up on a computer area of
Hmm.
during high school, and I later realized that you can program on Flash.
Ah,
So that's why I started my first ifs, my first switch cases was in there, and using that the timeline to go to and play, go to and stop. If you're familiar with Flash, that's how you manage to do
what
something.
what was the language you used for that Flash?
Action script. So it was the main
Action.
action script. Yeah,
Action
because
like action.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Oh wow.
Because you have like actions, you can create a button and you can create small snippets for that
Yeah.
button. When you click it, you can use it the programming on the timeline. So it was fun.
Hmm.
And my first website, then I realized that you can put it stuff on the internet. That's
Hmm.
also like a mental switch that there's not local anymore. You can put it stuff online.
Hmm. Hmm.
So my first website that I put it online,
Hmm.
to be honest, I don't remember the exact date, but
Okay.
it I remember that he has had 3 megabytes because
Oh.
I put it a full MP3 song in there because I wanted the Flash website. So the Flash website was all animation and sound
Yes,
effects,
sound effects.
and I didn't know how to cut down just the part. So I need to put the entire empty MP3 file on the Flash website. So I just put it on online. So it took a while for people to see my website, like 30 minutes back.
Yes.
On that period is we have like slow internet connections. That's pretty normal. But that
Which
was
year
my
was that?
first.
Sorry, which year was that?
So 2000. I'm making a quick math. Maybe 2004, more or
God,
less. Yeah,
2004.
yeah. The internet was not pretty at the time.
Yeah, obviously.
And but it was my first website, and from then I just did websites till this moment.
Wow, wow, that's really inspiring thing. And so, what happened to you when you realized that Flash is not going to be in the Internet Explorer anymore? How
So
you reacted to that thing?
when I saw when Steve Jobs mentioned, "Oh, there's no more Flash on the website," so I was just, I just then I
Oh
needed
my
to.
God, what happened?
Yeah. My entire life was just down the
Yes.
drain, and now I need to start migrating for something else. And I end up with HTML, but for that interaction, you quickly learn that you need something else. So you need either JavaScript or either something on the backend.
Yeah.
And at the time, there was like a PHP forum, like an open source thing that you can install in every server to have like a forum. And I was on the forum, like for sharing the images that I designed on Flash. And so I end up creating my forum because we never create something for themselves. And I end up using PHP, and there's a funny language in there called PHP. And I end up starting to copy paste snippets to give more features to the platform, pretty much like we have on Laravel 3. You need to copy paste something to your current code so you have more features. So that's how I end up reaching PHP, was to getting features and whatsoever, and just to share the designs, because my main focus was always designs at the time. So that's how I end up gradually
With
moving
PHP
on.
and
Yeah.
development. So how this Laravel came into the life? Obviously, after PHP, the next step is Laravel. But how do you know about the Laravel thing and you came up with Laravel?
So Laravel,
Yeah.
like everyone, you starting to create your own framework, obviously, because you start to create your function for views, your function for getting data from the database, but you always reach the point that this is hard. I need to find something really quick to create your next application. So I search options, and at the time there was like Cake PHP, Symfony,
PHP.
and I saw that I discovered the Happy code. Hopefully I'm saying the name properly, from Daily Reese. That is Code Happy. That is like the big reg panda that he was just sharing tips for a thing called Laravel. So that's how I end up with Laravel. So I need something really quick, like a framework. And I started with Laravel 3. That's when you don't have Composer. So like I mentioned before, you need to copy paste
everything
back to your code and pray that, because even back then my PHP skills was not that big. So you need to pray that everything was going smoothly. So that's how I reach the Laravel community. So I learn about Jeffrey, I learn about Taylor, and I gradually starting to, not personally getting into the community, because I was just sitting in the corner, just absorbing everything. But I know the old gang from the Laravel community.
So I have like totally different story of landing into Laravel. So like you you did for the Flash with the MP3 thing. I didn't know how to create the website. So I know that PHP is a thing, and I realized that okay, if I have to create a new post, I have to create a new PHP file. So with the PHP, I created new PHP file with the content of the post on that. And after like 40, 50 posts, I realized that my shared hosting is filled with all the PHP files, 40, 50 PHP files. Then one of my friend told me that, hey, why don't you use a framework? I said, what is framework?
Yeah.
Then she introduced me with she said like, hey, just Google what PHP framework, you will find a good one. So then I got into the CI, not CI, what's that? Code Igniter.
The
Yeah, Code
code
Igniter. Yes,
igniter.
CI.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Code Igniter. So I learned that. I said, yeah, it's good, but not that fun. So
Yeah.
I thought, why not just write and find a best one? So I literally typed the best PHP framework, and Laravel came at the top. I said, what's that Laravel thing? Let's learn it. And from there, I just learning and keep learning. And today also, I'm learning Laravel. It's really fun. Good one.
Yeah. Laravel, what it has that it's magical, at
Yeah,
least for a newcomer, because there's a lot of different sort of magics that you can easily
100%.
connect to Laravel. Some of us are the community, some of us are the content, but when you start into developing with Laravel, the thing that it easily tricks you into it is like the fluent way to code,
Exactly.
because it makes sense for you to write down the code as it is. And props to Taylor, props to everyone that
100%.
follows that momentum of
100%.
giving ourselves, the developers, such a fluent way of coding.
Yeah, I have learned not only just to code but how to code from
Yeah,
Laravel. And
yeah,
not me, I believe. Every person who is using Laravel will dig into the Laravel code base to know how to write things, how to create classes, how to use any interface. Like all the how to's of the programming
yeah,
are answered by the Laravel, and
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
beauty of Laravel, I believe.
The alt click always
Yeah,
have the good answers. You just alt click, oh, so that's how you need to structure. And
exactly.
you're starting to gradually have that moment, that confidence of working and coding like
Yeah,
that.
right, right. You're right. Okay, so Kaniko, let's move apart from the Laravel and coding. What you generally do when you're not designing or when you're not coding? What's your time pass mantra, or you can say like what's your life after this professional
Yeah.
thing?
So when I close down the lid of the computer, maybe it's the best way of getting out of the computer is when you
Yes,
close down the lid.
that's true.
What happens next? So I have three kids at the moment.
Oh,
So I have my youngest as 1 year old. She's 1 year old. So when I close down the lid, it's like following the schedule, because
yeah.
having so many, you need to have like a good schedule and with all the tasks. It's pretty much like a batchable job that you can put on, that you need to give him showers, you need to prepare the dinner, you need to get him ready for to bed, and the next day just repeats. So most of the days when I'm not on the computer, I'm taking care and helping my wife. Most of the hard work, it's
Right.
by my favorite sponsor in the world, my wife. And so I helping her, and if it's not with family and running errands, I do CrossFit on the box. So I just work out and trying to make PRs for myself. So I'm
Oh,
making more movements, learn more about it, and do it well. So it's just code, family, and CrossFit at the moment, and that's quite enough, to be honest.
that's really good. I believe that you should have, like, everyone should have a work or life balance, and it's not like you have to make it. It should come from you, from within. you, because if you are not spending with your family, your relationship will be not that good. If you're not spending time with your work will be affected. So you
Yeah,
have to make sure that when you just close the lid, that means
yeah,
you closed.
yeah. You need to have like the work-life balance properly,
Yeah.
because you know how when you put too much on a plate, the other just flies over.
Right, right. That's true. Okay, I just want to ask this question. Like, this is the first question I have written when I was researching about you. Is you have designed logos for Laravel Zero, Collision, PHP Insight, Pest, Tinkerbell, Hello,
Yeah,
and many more.
yeah,
So, how you made these designs being a developer? But now I realize that you are first a designer, then a developer.
yeah.
Even though after that, my question is still remain the same, because there is a strong reason behind it. As a developer, you need to be logical, you need to be problem solver. As a designer, you have to be like emotion, you need to find emotion, you need to find the color balance, you need to find the looks. It's totally poles apart in my opinion. So
Hmm.
how you manage these two brains in your head? So just let me know, because I always want to design website, but when I ended up it, everyone says like, why don't you buy a new theme? So I'm like, okay, I got it, I'm very bad. So what's your way of doing these things?
There's like on development, there's a lot of skills of development. So you can be either a front end developer or a
Yes.
back end developer or a DevOps developer.
Hmm.
On design, it's just not only you're a designer, there's
Designer, that's it.
also a lot of levels.
Oh, really?
So for I'm I'm not considering myself like a more a web designer, because every single time that I make a website is all squares. Even my current boss just saying, you don't do the any design for our current page or whatsoever, because you just
Oh.
do squares. And
Oh.
because for a web designer needs to have like a sort of feeling and a
Mm.
sort of intuition. For me,
Yeah.
I'm more like a branding designer, and a
Oh.
more of I can do the web design
Mm-hmm.
if someone gives me like the design of the thing. I can translate it to HTML, but that's more coding. For me, I'm as a designer, I'm more like that branding guy, and that's how I came up with that many logos, because I'm my intuition, my feeling is more on that path, on giving the design branding of a project, a product. And most of the times are you mentioned color or size or whatever. It needs to come, to be honest, you need to have like a feeling. You need to look at it and to instantly or gradually saying that, oh, this works well or it doesn't.
Yeah.
But to design, to be honest, it's just like refactoring. You can
Mm.
translate it directly, because on design you always started with a square. You can
Okay.
design a logo and then you chop down, you remove something or add a circle, and you keep on refactoring until you end up with the final product.
Wow.
Sometimes it takes quite some time to create the perfect logo.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's really quick and instantly, because you listen to the word and there's no way whatsoever to
Mm-hmm.
design either than that. Obviously,
Okay.
you can come up with different solutions, but on an instant, I can, for example, Laravel Zero.
Yeah.
I don't know if you notice it, but it's a zero, but you
Yeah,
can
I
always
noticed.
see a Z on
Z.
it.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember that.
For collision, for example, that's collision. So
Yeah.
what's a collision? I just like anyone, maybe I just Google for what's a collision, and you have two balls collided. That's how I come up with it. But
Mm.
sometimes you need to be even not that creative. For pest, you just pest in there like a slant word. I just designed the letters, and
Mm-hmm.
the branding thing more. It's not around the logo, but it's like the Razzie colors. You
Oh,
have like that resi colors from cyan to magenta to green, and you have need to be vibrant. But that's also the design, like having the good way of communicating through the logo and through the branding for the product.
nice. This is really good content for me because it's a totally different mindset because I'm more of a logical, as I said, like developer is more of logical, but this is a totally different mindset. You said that you need to start with a square and then do the refactoring.
Yeah,
And similar thing we do on the development. We write the code. If it is working, let's do the refactoring after that.
yeah.
So little
The,
little similarity, but totally different mindset.
Yeah. The only worst part is like on coding, you can have like TDD
TDD.
or post TDD to
Yes.
confirm that your code is valid. On design, you don't have TDD. You just need to have the feeling that that will work.
Yes.
But for
No.
me,
Mhm.
I have like sort of a not a TDD, but sometimes I design a logo
Mhm.
and I don't show to anyone. I just
Okay.
close the program, continue my life,
Mhm.
and on the other day I just open again the same logo and I look at it. And sometimes you need to properly let it stir. Like it's like doing a brew. You need to the sauces and
Yes.
the
Yes.
meat to have some consistency
Yes.
because you cannot eat it right away. The
Mhm.
logo is pretty much like the same. I design it and I let it sleep on it.
Right.
And the other day maybe it works well, or I need to just
Yeah.
remove it.
Yeah. Right. In my opinion, like any art or any creativity, you should not share the process of that, because while you are creating something, it's all messed up thing until it is
Yeah,
finished. Once it
yeah,
is finished, then everything like sum up and you get the final product. So yeah, that's really good idea. Not show to anyone until it's completed. So talking about again the logos you have designed, Laravel Zero, Collision, PHP Insight, Pest, all are for Nuno's package. are,
yeah.
are you the chief design officer CDO for Nuno's company?
Oh, I have the pun that sometimes I use it. I'm like the Steve Sugar of Nuno
Oh,
because
this is a good one.
for the ones that I don't know, Steve Sugar is the designer for Adam Whalen.
Yeah, Adam
Adam
Whalen.
Whalen does the code, and Steve
Yes,
Sugar just do the design. So I'm
designs
Nuno's Steve Sugar, but for the logos.
for the
It's
logo.
fun. He sometimes just reach me on Telegram. I have a new package, and I always say to him, "What's new?"
What's new?
That's quite normal for him. Oh,
100%.
you have a
Yes,
new package.
yes.
Say to me, and it just I need a logo. Okay, tell me the name, and that's we already have a well-known process. So he just hit me up the name. I
Okay.
design something really quick. I send him, and we. That's why and maybe we speak Portuguese, so it's a lot easier for us to communicate. Maybe that's how. And I keep on doing logos for him with all my heart because it was thanks to Nuno that I end up in the community, on the Laravel community. Because,
Okay.
like I mentioned before, I was always sit down,
Mm-hmm. You're watching.
but watching to everything happen. And it was Nuno that
Mm-hmm.
propelled me into announce it, to share, to create, to so every mm, if I'm here at this moment, I'm thankful for Nuno because it was thanks to him that he just pushed me into the Laravel community.
Okay. So that's how you're able to design a lot of logos
Yeah.
just for Nuno. It's
Yeah, it
really
started
like
with Nuno and then
yeah, yeah.
Freik, and I did at least all the recent packages for Laravel.
Yes.
I designed it all, also
Mm-hmm.
their logos. It's fun.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. And so once again, changing the gear and moving to another different thing, which is about the health. So I researched about you and I found that you gained 3 kg last year. And this is some people want to lose, some people want to gain. But what's your mantra of being healthy as a developer or maybe as a
Hmm.
designer? Like basically I want to know like what's your mantra for being healthy with your work?
Hmm. So I end up on gaining 3 kilos, but it's the good 3 kilos.
Yeah.
Or not all the 3 kilos because there's a little bit of fat on top of that, but it's good. And I end up adding that there because I've seen Nuno's recap and he did the opposite. He lost a lot
Yeah.
of weight.
And Adam
And so,
has also
yeah,
lost many kg.
but sometimes you end up gaining. But
Yeah.
as long as the good depends on what your idea of
Mhm.
good weight. But it's also a good thing to express yourself to. Oh, I gained, but it was the good one. But my focus, so I do CrossFit on a box. So that's how I end up gaining that because you need to, if you need to
Yeah.
progress on CrossFit, you need to carry more weight. So for carrying more weight, you need to gain more weight to have more strength. But I don't go to CrossFit to be
Mhm.
big or to be the next Adam Wadden just to bench press anything.
Yes.
To be honest, I go to CrossFit to mostly for my mental
Mm.
health.
Yes.
I had during COVID, I had like a big crash down mentally, and because mostly, to be honest, it was because we all were confined at home, so the box was closed, so there's no release nor
Mhm.
escape to
Yeah.
release all the
Yes,
energy.
exactly.
And so I end up like uh, putting down inside of me the energy and all the negative
Mhm.
thoughts, and I had like a mental crash, and I end up reaching for
Mhm.
help. There no shame in there because when if you broke your foot, you went to ask for
Mhm.
help. You don't wait for your foot to get on your feet, literally, for themselves. You need to ask for help, so you go to the hospital. If you have like sort of a
Mhm.
thing mentally, you always, not always, but it's better to reach for someone to help you to get in there. So I go to CrossFit more to release
Yeah.
all the things. So I go every single morning. 7 a.m. I'm at the CrossFit box and I do my workout and I reach home and I'm ready to code because and I'm losing and I'm more relaxed and I can continue my workflow normally. That's how I, if
Yeah.
you ask me, how's the healthy developer is a developer that is healthy with themselves mentally, physically, but they are healthy.
Have you ever tried meditation for mental peace and mental health?
No,
Uh, yeah,
to be
I'll
honest, no.
recommend you.
But I'm waiting for a truly meditation session in
Oh, that's
India.
really good, and I recommend you to follow that because it's really effective, and it just it's like you do exercise for your physical body. It's a
Hmm.
exercise for your mental peace or your mind or your brain. So there are many
Hmm.
things, even with yoga, the Indian way of doing exercise. Maybe you know about the yoga. So
Hmm.
there are many yogas which actually create the vibration in your body, and that vibration goes to your brain. So it's like a stimulation for your brain, and that's how you actually trigger the neurons to make the better connection in your brain. So
Hmm.
that's effective along with the meditation. So yoga and meditation combined will not only make you fit physically but also mentally. So that's really powerful.
Physically, I truly believe
Yeah.
because I see some people do yoga things that I don't have that mobility whatsoever.
No, yoga has many steps for every type of people who can do something, who are not flexible, they can do some different yogas. So there are different things. So maybe one day we will chat about that also. But I, yeah,
Yeah.
I want to just close this podcast with some like quick questions. So, any gadget you recommend to the developers for better productivity or maybe just for fun? Gadget,
Gadgets.
gadget.
Let me think a little
Or if
bit.
you can't think about the gadget, you
Gadgets,
can
maybe.
recommend any software.
Maybe for me, when you mention gadgets, maybe if you're an anxious people, get a spinner, get a fidget
Fidget
spinner
spinner,
or
yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
to. Yeah, it was big, but I think 4 years ago. But have something. If you're even if you end up with a code block situation, you need to think it through. If you have a fidget, you just cranking that thing up, and maybe the solution will come up
Is it,
a lot quicker.
is
Or you
is
can
there any
go
logic or is there any science behind the fidget spinner? Like
stress
stress release,
release.
how it works? Do you
Yeah,
know about that?
yeah. You have like, you remember being in
Yeah,
high
yeah, yeah.
school or at school, and you have like the pen. You just
Yes, 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 yes. Quickly doing
quickly,
this thing.
and you done that when on exams or
Exactly.
on tests, because you have end up with the situation that you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking through, and you have like a need to release all the stress, and maybe even the clicks sounds helping getting on the mindset to how to solve the thing on the exam. It's pretty much like you can do that on
Yeah,
code.
I remember I did like I always did like chit 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 with the pen we have chit chit chit,
Yeah, yeah,
chit. And suddenly something
yeah, yeah. It's a
clicks in
stress
my mind. Oh
release.
yeah, I have to write that.
Yeah,
Oh good.
yeah. It's a lot easier to quicker with a pen because you
Yeah,
already have a pen. You don't need to release the fidget and grab the
yes,
pen. But yeah, it's pretty much
nice,
the same
nice.
flow.
I'll try that. Good one. Okay, so one maybe three books you can recommend to the developers for anything like firstly do you read books? Oh, so
No,
cut this question.
I'm 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 for me to learn, I need to see. I'm that person. So for me, if you ask the
Yeah,
three
you
channels
can do that.
to everyone
You
to
can do that.
follow, it's for me it's Laracast
Obviously.
obviously, and go to watch follow everyone that is screencasting, and because you end up seeing like people struggling with
Mm,
the code, and even the elite, you can see that they
yeah,
struggle
obviously.
on sometimes
Hmm.
during the code. So but I'm a visual learner, so that's I don't read books because I prefer to see how things are going and to learn from the best that happen. That helps me quite a bit to see how people do their thing.
Okay.
But that's me. Everyone
Yeah,
is
obviously.
different, and everyone learns a different
Yes.
way.
Okay. So apart from like you listen to podcast. So
Yeah, I
any
listen
good
to.
podcast you can recommend?
I'm going to say the obvious ones, like Laravel News Podcast,
No,
and
maybe
but
other than
there's
programming.
so I listen to the No Plans to Merge
No plan
podcast from No Plans to
plans. Oh,
Merge.
no plans to merge. I should write that.
Yeah, it's the podcast from Caleb Porzio and
Okay.
Daniel Kohlberg, and they just speak about code, they speak about life, they speak about
Oh,
fishing. So all
yeah,
good
yeah.
things that happens on their lives, they end up
Good,
sharing
good,
on their
good.
podcast. It's really
Nice,
fun.
nice. Good.
And there's the other I recommend for you to listen. It's the how does it name? It's from Christoph Rumpel.
Rumble. Okay,
It's before call it a day.
okay.
It's when he just express of an issue or a
Hmm.
problem that he has, or an idea, and he says he has that podcast.
Wow.
So maybe it's the one that I recommended
Okay.
as well
Good.
to listen.
Good one. Good one. Okay. So last question, and this is like something related to the life, like how you handle the bad days when you feeling stressed, when you things are not going well in your life. How you handle that days and your mental peace. What was your thought process?
So hopefully I'm going to the gym
Okay.
and I just do like a good session of clean and press. So I need to,
Mm-hmm.
for me personally, I end up always going to the gym and release that everything
Mm.
on a workout.
Yes. Yes.
And when I reach home, or because I'm tired
Mm-hmm.
and I have all my stress really loosen
Yeah.
thanks to the workout. So that's how I overcome that stress and that problem. Because after that, I just realized that, or either I found the solution of that problem during the workout,
Mm-hmm.
and I can continue and resolve the problem right away.
Okay. So that's a really good way of like handling. So I believe like everything is in your mind. So if you can change
Yeah,
your mindset, you can change the situation. So
but
yeah.
sometimes, for example, that's more like a life problem.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
like something really not messed up, but really a struggle that you have in life. But
Exactly.
if
That's
you're pinpointing like a program situation that you have like a program or a problem or a logo that you need to design and you
Mhm.
don't come up with the solution, I follow more the way that hold down for a minute
Exactly.
and go do something else.
Exactly.
And sometimes the idea and the solution just appear on
Mm.
the various locations, and make sure they have something to write down the solution,
Yeah.
and then you find it.
Yeah, similar thing happens to me 2 days back. I was stuck in a really hard problem on coding, and I was like struggle for 3 or 4 hours just to solve that problem. And I thought, okay, this is the time I need to close things.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
closed it. I got one good sleep, and when I wake up, I realized that hey, I can try that thing. Maybe it can solve. I came up suddenly, and within 5 minutes, I solved that problem. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
taking break is
really,
really important.
yeah, it's really hard for us that the solution of the thing took 5 minutes when you spend 4 hours on
four
it.
hours exactly.
I wanted to give a big slap to that person. That's why didn't you solve that thing right away?
Exactly.
But it's the
Why you
brain.
spend four
Yeah,
hours
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just it's
exactly,
awful
you're right.
feeling.
You're right. Kaniko, this is really amazing. Like 1 hour flew just like a
Already an
word or
hour?
whatever. Yeah,
Gosh.
it's just an hour we have completed, and it's like so much fun talking about the things you are doing, your stories, your way of thinking about the designing. It's really
Mhm.
impressive. This is the first time we are talking one to one, and I'm really impressed with your nature. And it's not feeling like we are talking first time. It's like we know each other for a long time, and we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
recording the podcast.
That's the thing with the Laravel community.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
the impressive thing about the Laravel community, because
Mm.
Laravel for me,
Yeah.
it's the framework and the code and what you can achieve with it. But
Hmm.
for me, I have like community on top of anything of the code, because it's the
Yes.
community that makes this going forward, not the code.
Not the code. Man, 100%. Okay, so Kaniko, where people can follow you, and if they have any question related to development, related to designing logos, where they can reach out to you.
Twitter.
Twitter. Twitter is the
The
best
Twitter
place.
until is still up. Twitter. Let's hope it
Let's
continues.
yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I will be there, and I'm going down with the ship. I don't going
Yes.
anywhere. I'm my main platform for reaching me and
Yeah.
follow
What's your Twitter
something
handle?
that, yeah,
How you spell it?
Caneco,
Spell it.
It's
Spell it.
it's my name. Caneco.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's easy. That's easy.
So
Good.
yeah, it's my name. So there's no mistake there. So it's really
Yeah.
really easy.
Yeah. So hopefully Elon Musk uncle will not do any shit thing with Twitter. And
Fingers crossed.
yeah, fingers crossed once again, and we will be there and we will be connected with each other.
Yeah.
Thank you, Caneco, for coming up at this short span and recording this podcast. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we will record once again later on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Let's hope that, or it will be good that the next time we see each other, like eyes to eyes, will be in India. But if
Yeah.
the thing will, the moment or the event will appear from then to have like a one-to-one conversation, let's have it. But
yeah, that's good.
the first thing that I'm going to say when I see you in India is a Sartak Namaste.
Good. Very nice.
I'm learning.
Yeah, good. You're a quick learner.
Yeah.
Okay.